Most men think disrespect starts when somebody insults them. It doesn't. It starts 10 minutes earlier, in the hesitation before you answer, in the nervous smile after they cross a line, in the tiny signal that tells them you'd rather keep the peace than protect your position. People rarely disrespect you by accident. They test, they measure, they watch what happens next. And the final fact in this video is the one that makes every other fact work. Miss it, and every boundary you set eventually collapses. Number 1. Disrespect grows wherever consequences are unclear. Human beings are prediction machines. Before someone talks over you, mocks you, dismisses you, or pushes past your limits, their brain makes a calculation. What's this gonna cost me? Not consciously, not always, but the calculation happens. If the answer is nothing, the behavior repeats. That's not a misunderstanding, that's conditioning. Every time somebody crosses a line and you laugh it off, explain it away, or pretend you didn't notice, you reward the behavior. You teach them that disrespect is safe, familiar, easy, repeatable. And people repeat whatever creates a reward without creating pain. The reward might be attention, social approval, control, a feeling of superiority, the pleasure of watching you shrink. Your job isn't to become aggressive. Your job is to make the consequence predictable. Maybe you end the conversation. Maybe you stop doing favors. Maybe you remove access. Maybe you say, "Don't speak to me like that," and let the silence sit there. No speech, no emotional explosion, no courtroom defense. A boundary without a consequence is a suggestion, and suggestions get ignored. Number 2, the more you explain yourself, the weaker your position looks. Most men over-explain because they think more words create more understanding. They usually create more openings. You say you can't make it, then you explain why, then you defend the explanation, then you offer alternatives, then you apologize for having a life. Now the other person isn't responding to your decision. They're negotiating your permission to make it. That's not communication, that's surrender wearing polite clothes. Dark psychology works through frame control. The person who defines what must be explained holds the frame. When somebody demands a detailed reason for a basic decision, they're often testing whether your no belongs to you or whether it needs their approval. You don't need 10 sentences. "I can't do that. That doesn't work for me. I'm not available." Notice the difference. You're not asking them to agree. You're informing them of reality. The more you justify, the more they search for weaknesses in the justification. They don't argue with the boundary. They argue with the reason. So stop giving them material. You don't need to sound angry, calm, brief, finished. That's power. Number 3, nervous laughter tells predators where the fence is broken. You know the moment. Somebody makes a disrespectful joke. Everybody looks at you, and you laugh. Not because it was funny, because the tension made you uncomfortable. That laugh is expensive. It tells the room, you can embarrass me, and I'll help you do it. That's not being easygoing. That's self-betrayal. People read micro-reactions faster than they process words. Your smile, your posture, your eye contact, your breathing, the speed of your response, all of it communicates rank. When somebody crosses a line, don't rush to make the moment comfortable. Let it become uncomfortable. Look at them, pause, then ask, "What did you mean by that?" Now they've got to explain the disrespect in plain language. Most people become brave inside ambiguity. They hide behind jokes, tone, group laughter. "I was only playing." Force them into clarity, and the confidence drains out of the room. "What did you mean? Why would you say that?" Explain the joke. You're not attacking, you're removing camouflage. And disrespect looks pathetic without camouflage. Here's where most men mess this up. They think the goal is to win the argument. It isn't. The goal is to change the other person's prediction about what happens when they target you. That prediction changes through experience, not speeches. Number 4, emotional reactions give disrespectful people control of your nervous system. Some people insult you because they dislike you. Others insult you because they want access to your emotions. They want anger, they want panic. They want you loud, defensive, and unstable. Because once you're emotional, they control the pace. They poke, you react, they deny, you explain, they laugh, you escalate. Now you look like the problem. That's not conflict, that's remote control. And you're the device. A man who can be emotionally triggered on command is a grown man acting like a Bluetooth speaker with low battery. Loud, glitchy, easy to disconnect. Your nervous system has to become private property. That doesn't mean you feel nothing. It means they don't get to choose what you display. Slow your response. Lower your voice. Use fewer words. Watch how quickly the power shifts when they're performing chaos, and you're giving them nothing to grip. They'll often intensify first. That's called an extinction burst. When a behavior stops producing the old reward, people temporarily push harder. They interrupt more, mock you more, try to provoke you more. They're checking whether the old button still works. Don't reward the escalation. Hold the line. Calm isn't passivity. Calm is controlled violence with the safety on. Number 5. People respect what they can lose access to. This fact makes uncomfortable men angry because it exposes a brutal truth. Unlimited availability lowers perceived value. If you always answer, always help, always forgive, always return, and always stay, people stop experiencing your presence as a privilege. They experience it as infrastructure, always there, always useful, never leaving. That's not loyalty, that's becoming furniture. Access shapes behavior. When someone knows disrespect could cost them your time, help, attention, friendship, opportunity, or presence, they become more careful. Not because they suddenly became moral, because loss creates focus. You don't need to announce that you're pulling away. Announcements often sound like threats. Just reduce access. Stop volunteering. Stop rescuing. Stop chasing. Stop giving premium treatment to people offering discount behavior. And don't remove access as a manipulation tactic. Remove it because access to you should match the quality of their behavior. People teach you how they value you through patterns. Believe the pattern. A person who apologizes but repeats the behavior isn't confused. They've calculated that the apology is cheaper than changing. That's not remorse. That's a subscription fee. Number 6. Labels are weapons used to punish men who become harder to control. The moment you start enforcing boundaries, certain people won't attack the boundary. They'll attack your identity. You're selfish. You've changed. You're arrogant. You think you're better than everybody. Why? Because labels create shame, and shame creates compliance. They can't control your decision, so they try to control what the decision means. They can't dominate, so they call dominance evil. They can't use you, so they call boundaries selfish. They can't predict you, so they call you difficult. They can't shame you into staying small, so they say you've changed. Good. You were supposed to change. Don't defend yourself against every label. The defense accepts the frame. If somebody says you're selfish and you spend 5 minutes proving you're generous, they've already placed you on trial. Try this instead. You're allowed to see it that way. That sentence is psychological armor. It doesn't fight the accusation. It removes the accuser's authority. They expected panic. They got indifference. They expected explanation. They got ownership. They expected the old version of you. He didn't show up. Understanding these patterns is the difference between seeing manipulation after it works and recognizing it while it's happening. Robert Greene's The Laws of Human Nature breaks down why people hide motives, project insecurities, and manipulate social perception. So if you're serious about actually understanding this, scroll down and grab it. I've left the link in the description below. Now pay attention, because we're 2/3 through, and this is where the facts stop being defensive. The next one teaches you how to prevent disrespect before anybody speaks. Number 7, people decide how far they can push you by watching what you tolerate from yourself. Self-disrespect leaks. It leaks through broken promises, through desperate attention seeking, through constantly changing your opinion to match the room, through insulting yourself before anybody else gets the chance. You call it humor. They call it permission. You say, I'm probably wrong, but you say, this might sound stupid. You say, sorry to bother you. Before you've even spoken, you've lowered your own status. That's not humility. That's social self-harm. People notice whether you protect your time, whether you keep your word, whether your body language matches your words, whether you abandon your standards when approval enters the room. Presence isn't built by pretending you're superior. It's built through internal consistency. Your words match your actions. Your yes means yes. Your no means no. Your silence doesn't beg to be filled. A man who trusts himself moves differently. He doesn't scan every face after he speaks. He doesn't rewrite his opinion because somebody frowned. He doesn't perform confidence. He's already decided where he stands. And because he knows where he stands, other people know where they stand with him. Number 8, the last fact. Boundaries fail when you're afraid to lose the relationship. This is the fact that makes every other fact real. You can learn the perfect words. You can control your face. You can set consequences. You can stop explaining. But if the other person knows you're terrified they'll leave, your boundary has an expiration date. They'll wait, they'll pressure, they'll withdraw affection, they'll create distance, and eventually you'll fold. That's why some men get disrespected again and again by different people. The problem isn't the wording. The problem is attachment to being chosen. You want the friendship, the relationship, the approval, the invitation, the opportunity, so badly that you'll trade dignity to keep access. That's not connection, that's captivity. The ultimate source of respect is your willingness to walk away from any situation that requires you to betray yourself, to remain inside it. Not dramatically, not impulsively, not to prove a point. You walk because the cost of staying became higher than the cost of leaving. The moment people sense that you'll survive without them, manipulation loses oxygen. Threats stop working. Silent treatment stops working. Guilt stops working. Mockery stops working. Because they can't control a man who's already accepted the possibility of loss. That's the final mechanism. You don't become impossible to disrespect by intimidating everybody. You become difficult to disrespect because disrespect stops buying access to you. No attention, no reaction, no explanation, no relationship at any cost. People may still try you, but they won't keep trying because your behavior teaches them that crossing the line doesn't weaken you, it removes them. I've studied psychology for years, and these facts separate men who quietly command respect from men who keep getting used, confused, and controlled. Drop a comment and let me know which one hit the hardest. If this video opened your eyes, smash the like button. And if you're serious about investing in yourself and your future, become a channel member. This directly funds our high-impact content and rewires your mindset instead of wasting your time with the basic advice everyone else gives you. Most creators give you surface-level tips. We give you the actual system to stop being invisible. Lastly, make sure to subscribe and turn on post notifications. Most guys consume content but never commit to the journey. They're scared to take the steps necessary because they're not serious about bettering themselves. They're happy staying invisible, staying average, staying predictable. But you, I know you're different. So what are you waiting for? Subscribe and become a member today. Let's go beyond betterness.